citizenry. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon on 93.7 Citizen FM, Abuja. Remember, Nigeria's security is our collective responsibility.
Full course here.
Here comes the People's Security Monitor on your classy Citizen FM 93.7, a program designed to serve as a platform to raise suggestions on how best to improve Nigeria's security system in collaboration with our security agencies and the citizenry. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon on 93.7 Citizen FM, Abuja. Remember, Nigeria's security is our collective responsibility. Here comes the People's Security Monitor on your classy Citizen FM 93.7, a program designed to serve as a platform to raise suggestions on how best to improve Nigeria's security system in collaboration with our security agencies and the citizenry. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon on 93.7 Citizen FM, Abuja. Remember, Nigeria's security is our collective responsibility.
Good morning, Nigerians, and welcome to your ever-reliable People's Security Monitor, coming your way on your classic Citizen FM 93.7 in Abuja, the capital city of Nigeria. Our cardinal responsibility on People's Security Monitor is to serve as a platform to raise suggestions on how best to improve the nation's security system, especially as it concerns our various security actors and their agencies in collaboration with the citizenry. Additionally, we shall be probing into excesses of all the security agents as it unfolds in order to ensure that the instrumentalities of the security granted them by the state are not being wrongly applied to Nigerians and non-Nigerians as the case may be. Thus, we are set out in full swing to check and guide against abuse of fundamental human rights in its entirety in order for the security agents to strictly comply with professional and ethical standards as demanded by laws establishing them. Let's all remember that we hold Nigeria a deserving collective responsibility of building and sustaining its security if truly we are determined to grow as a nation. I am Isiaka Mustapha, and I shall be directing the affairs of this program for the next 1 hour. We'll take a short break now. Please don't go away.
Here comes the People's Security Monitor on your classy Citizen FM 93.7, a program designed to serve as a platform to raise suggestions on how best to improve Nigeria's security system in collaboration with our security agencies and the citizenry. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon on 93.7 Citizen FM, Abuja. Remember, Nigeria's security is our collective responsibility.
Welcome back. And straight to the business of the day. The Federal Capital Territory is experiencing a surge in criminal activities and it has taken a frightening dimension, including armed robbery and kidnappings. This trend has prompted Nigerians to question the implication for the entire country, given that Abuja is the nation's capital, where the three arms of government and security agencies, including all the paramilitary, are located. Despite President Tinubu's commitment to prioritize security when sworn in, the FCT has witnessed a noticeable increase in criminal incidents, prompting worries about the effectiveness of security measures in the capital. According to a 2020 report by SB Margin, Abuja was ranked 11th among locations with frequent abductions, a stark revelation of the evolving security landscape in the region. Over the last 3 years, close to 50 kidnap cases have been recorded in Abuja, involving over 200 individuals. The severity of the issue becomes more apparent when examining the data from January 2024 to June 2023, revealing approximately 40 recorded cases with a staggering 236 victims between October and December 2023 alone. There were 13 recorded kidnap incidents impacting 80 victims. These incidents are not isolated to specific areas, but have occurred in various locations within Abuja, including Gwagwalada, Kuje, Lugbe, Pegi, Abaji, Kete, and Kwali. That is what is particularly concerning is that these incidents seem to occur unchallenged by the security agencies, allowing criminal elements to operate with impunity. The economic toll of this rising insecurity is substantial, with confirmed ransom payment totaling 653 million naira between 2021 and 2022. With me in the studio this morning to discuss the Abuja insecurity crisis is Chief Kazim Omomia, a top-notch defense and security journalist with former security advisor to Governor Obaseki of Edo State. You're welcome to People's Security Monitor this morning, Chief Omomia.
Thank you very much, Mr. It's good to be here on 93.7 Citizen FM on the highbrow, city of Abuja.
We'll take a short break now, and we shall be right back with People's Security Monitor Newsbeat. Please don't go away.
Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon on 93.7 Citizen FM, Abuja. Remember, Nigeria's security is our collective responsibility.
You're welcome back to People's Security Monitor Newsbeat. The Senate Majority Chief Whip, Senator Ndume, has decried the poor remuneration for security agencies, saying that the recruits have paid less than 50,000 naira a month. Ndume, a former chairman of Senate Committee on Army, asked the federal government to urgently review the stipends and salaries of serving military personnel. United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Tuesday said the U.S. will provide an additional $45 million to West African nations as part of a plan to battle instability, bringing total funding under the program to nearly $300 million. In a four-nation tour of African democracies, Blinken met separately on Tuesday with President Bola Tinubu and Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara. The Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Egbetogun, has ordered the posting of Assistant Commissioners of Police to head the Intelligence Department of the Force at zonal and state command levels nationwide. First PRO ACP Olumoyiwa Adejobi said this was in furtherance of the upscaling of the Intelligence Department of the Police. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has taken a swipe at his critics over recent remarks on the increase of adoptions in the nation's capital. Wike said the politicians are bent on painting the Tinubu administration in bad colors, as well as create tension in Abuja. The Special Intelligence Squad of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has successfully intercepted an articulated truck transporting substantial amount of vandalized racetrack iron and sleepers. The stolen materials were concealed within a load of iron scrap. NSCDC National Spokesperson Said Afolabi disclosed the suspects were arrested in Jamal local government area of Kaduna State. An Anambra State businessman, Mr. Jeff Nweke, has dragged the State Commissioner of Police, Aderemi Adeoye, to court. The businessman and security expert is asking for compensation for damages to the tune of 28 million naira over encroachment into his property located at Four-Way Court Estate, Oka. He also paid the court to restrain the commissioner from further deploying armed men to the property. FCT Commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Olusola Odumosu, has charged officers and men of the command to engage in native intelligence gathering in order to tackle the current security challenges in the territory. The Department of State Services, DSS, has denied reports that Bello Bodejo, president of Miyetti Hala, is in his custody. Spokesman of the DSS, Peter Afunaya, made it clarification on Tuesday evening. And that ends our security newsbeat for the day. We go on a short break and we'll be right back.
Here comes the People's Security Monitor on your classy Citizen FM 93.7, a program designed to serve as a platform to raise suggestions on how best to improve Nigeria's security system in collaboration with our security agencies and the citizenry. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon on 93.7 Citizen FM, Abuja. Remember, Nigeria's security is our collective responsibility.
Welcome back to People's Security Monitor this morning. Again, our guest in the house is Chief Kazim Omomia. Chief Omomia, you are welcome once again to People's Security Monitor.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Yeah, the subject of discourse today is the seeming turbulent moment Abuja is going through in the hands of criminals. And Chief Kazim is in the house to throw some light on this issue. Let me start by asking you, sir, what could have triggered, the surge, in the rate of criminality in the last 2 months in FCT?
Musti, when I got the topic, yesterday, Abuja's insecurity quack, Maya, I was, being taken aback, over what the Minister of FCT had always, said, His Excellency Barrister Nyesom, Wike, that the situation in Abuja is not, to him, is over-publicized, But I've always told people who care to know and who also want to listen that Abuja is an illusion. The watertight security people have always thought about, the nation's capital is an illusion. It's a misplaced or a misrepresentation of what Abuja really is. Like any nation's capital. Even in the United States, Washington DC once in a while, and the big states in America, we've always had records of insecurity there when a man who goes gaga, gets out of his, home or residence, goes into, a public place and begins, to shoot, at will and killing, innocent, persons. For Abuja, it's not too, different in the sense that over the years, we've had, a series of cases of insecurity where the security in the nation's capital, has been breached and, really breached. Remember the United Nations House, incident. And not too far from that too, before the United Nations, we also had, the bombing of the Louis Edet Force Headquarters, of the Nigerian, police. And we've had series of, cases around the fringe, of the nation's, capital. Even the Buhari area where the resurgence has, come, from, arising from the Kadriya's, family, that were, kidnapped, about 6, kids, from that home, and where one, unfortunately was, killed. We've always had, security breaches, from that area, from the areas around there up to Kuje, Kwali. These are all the periphery, of the nation's, capital. We also knew of the Abuja, the Kuje prisons, jailbreak, that was masterminded by, terrorists, the SWAP group, which we later, come to, know. So day in, day out, outside the terrorist and the very extreme, insecurity, cases, we have pockets of, car theft, one chance issues, and, sundry and insecurity cases, which is peculiar, not only to Abuja, the cities in the country, and also,
if I really got you, sorry to interject you, if I really got you right, what you're trying to say is that Abuja does not make any difference from other parts of the country.
Yes.
That in terms of security, we just, it's a seeming grand illusion that Abuja is more secure than the rest of other parts of the country.
Abuja as a nation's capital, it's a place that is populated by the good, the bad, ugly. And the tendency to get those who are not in tandem and in conformity with the norms, of society. You always get those who are, waywards, those who are criminal elements who want to also, exhibit their trade, and trying to, probably breach, security. Those are the kind of, situations where, finding kidnapping is not new here. The whole of 2021, 22, and up to 20, we had series of cases of kidnapping around the Kuje, axis, and it's still prevalent, there, and around the Kwali area on the express, Lokoja Abuja Expressway, those settlements and communities around there have always been targets of, kidnappers and, terrorists, invading them at, holy times of the day and picking people and also, asking, for ransom. But one fundamental thing about this Abuja that has become more or less a resurgence and is causing worries, to residents is the the Kadriya family, and from the same area, the Buhari area, where 7 military personnel were killed, some years back, who were attached to the Brigade of Guards, gives room, for concern. Because what I understand about, security, where a case occurs and is incidented, the police, before the police will begin to analyze, that type of, crime. Like the incidents in Buhari, which has become another channel of, resurgence in criminal kidnapping and things like that, is one area that the security agencies, of course, and because of the position of the nation's capital in Abuja, are supposed to have deployed, crack and effective intelligence, since they know that place is becoming an axis and is becoming an epicenter of criminalities, especially kidnapping. That is coming from that Buhari axis again. It gives some source of worry, and those who are in charge should begin to look at that area and see how they can deploy their security assets so that we can.
Yeah, Chief Kazim, let us look at the size of Abuja itself in terms of a landmass. Abuja is bigger than some states in the country. The issue of hill equipment is there. The issue of low technological driven concept is also there. And the issue of not having enough personnel on ground is also there. Definitely, action will not happen in vacuum. There must be some processes to that. And the situation now seems to be getting out of hand as security personnel appear to have been overwhelmed. What do you think is fundamentally wrong that we've been having ceaseless kidnappings?
It's to me, it's docility, complacency, and a reactive, tendency, instead of us to be, very proactive, in terms of, deploying our, intelligent assets in trying to nip most of these occurrences in the bud. If you look at the geographical architecture, the geographical map of Abuja is an enclosure. You have the major highways as exits and entrance, and bounded by hilltops, undulating plains and things like that. So what is wrong in policing such city? Where we are actually having the problems is outside the federal capital, city. That's the FCC. Where normally we call Abuja. We don't have much of such security breaches, except especially those days when we have high tech Boko Haram activities also playing around in the nation's capital. Most of the kidnappings and killings that have really taken place in the federal capital territory are around the fringes, the area councils.
The outskirts.
Yes, the outskirts, not really in the city center, because the city center appears, that's what we call the FCC, and where we call Abuja appears a little bit
secured,
compact for those who are coming to maybe do one or two criminal activities. I'll give you the police. If you look at all the points, the security points, you have stationed men and police presence, but that is not enough. That is not enough. And that is why I continue to say those who say Abuja is a watertight security is a misrepresentation of the reality on ground. And that is why I also say it's an illusion. Look, at Abuja is one place you park your car, you come back, you don't find it.
Yeah.
Abuja is a place where the one chance, it's occurs, very freely. I can tell you of so many victims. I remember a case of a young lady who just came out from the office, walked up to the road, around the Wuze Zone 5, Zone 2 area, and before you know it, they took her up to, the airport road. From one chance, it became a mini, kidnapping. When they quizzed her and discovered she didn't have funds on her, they had to call back to her office. And I remember that night before she was left off the hook, her assailants were able to rake in about 100 and something, naira for possibly, maybe getting her ATM card. These are the pocket of criminalities, around which the security architecture has to be redesigned. The police has to also wake up. The DSSS, they should, be more up and doing it, and their intelligence gathering, and also trying to bust, where this
intelligence gathering. That's another key aspect of the whole thing. Information. Exchange of information also plays a key role. That is what they call intelligence gathering now. What do you think is fundamentally wrong with our exchange of information process? That's one. Two, Two, one other worrisome issue is the fact that it's the same set of security personnel we've been having over 2 decades ago or more than that. And they are the people that have been grappling with these ceaseless kidnappings and robberies and whatever. Don't you think it's high time something is done to reorientate the security personnel themselves? Because when you keep a particular person in a place and there is occurrence of a particular issue, time and time, then something is fundamentally wrong.
Yes, you see, Musti, when you talk of intelligence gathering, there has to be confidentiality there. How do I trust you at the end? As a
volunteering.
That whatever I give to you, you will not, set me up, or you will not make me, a guinea pig at the end of, these are the issues. There has to be.
That is the issue of mistrust now.
There has to be, trust, confidentiality that what I give, let it be between, the two of us. There should be a bond, that when I, give you some intelligence about a criminal gang, you will not let me, out. So the issue of trust, we must begin to galvanize that, before we can, talk of intelligence gathering. There are people who are trained, for Christ's sake. Only yesterday, the IGP is deploying about 54 assistant commissioner of police, very high senior ranking officers to begin to head intelligent units of the police, commands, both at zonal and at the state, level. I give it to him because if he has chosen that rank, then he knows, what he has asked them to do is, for the best of, the country. It's best for policing. It's best for busting crime. And now that these guys have been deployed, they should go there and do what absolutely it's right, and where it can also begin to help in busting crimes and bringing insecurity to ground, zero. For instance, they go, to a state command and now begin to find unwilling persons in that unit. What do they do? Because intelligence is a high-tech, asset. In the military, the police, or what have you. If you really want to succeed in security, even in warfare, you need to go about to get intelligence. Once we begin to compromise intelligence, then of course we cannot have a headway in anything. You see, we should begin to desist more, from this kind of roadblock, kind of policing. We have also advocated on a number of times when I've had opportunities like this to talk. I've also asked that let's do more of motorized, policing, where you move police visibility around the area and the whatever locations or beats they have been that has been armed. Then coupled with a good intelligence around the area, you discover that you have busted crimes in a very great measure. But remaining docile, static in the place, and the enemy comes, does a recce about you, knows your condition, and look at those guys, they are not even allowed. Then they come back and hit those who are there as targets. It's been prevailing in this country, and it's a great problem. Let's deploy intelligence, community policing at the grassroots, even when you do it. I remember those days our traditional rulers were more or less like intelligence persons, because they know everyone around. They can give from the beginning to the end the history about one or two persons and those who are living in the community. Once we begin to get this information about those who are criminal elements, those who are law-abiding citizens, I think the security agents can from there begin to sift those who are criminals away from those who are respectable Nigerians. From there we can have a headway. If we don't do it, it's going to return us to square one. And you also talked about having unwilling persons who are there in the system. It's not left for those at the helm of affairs of management. Once you find somebody is not playing according to the rules, look at the incident of the 53 million, and what the president did immediately was to ask that minister to step aside. You can continue to redeploy, bring in those who are competent and who can do the job. Then take those who are not ready. You put them at the back seat so that the train or the vehicle can.
Chief Kazim, we're having some advocacies from some quarters whereby they are insinuating that we should have a total review of the laws, guiding our security. This in the context of self-defense now, that there should be some, legal backing to the self-defense doctrine. Recently, there's been a clamor for, individual to be harmed and stuff like that. That the action of individuals in the process of self-defense should also be backed up, by some laws, so that you don't just end up being vulnerable to your attackers again, and in the process of you trying to, self-protect yourself, you also have, you also incur some breaches of law. So what do you think should be done to really put the issue of self-defense, in appropriate position?
Yeah, mostly I'm not in consensus. I did with those who are advocating for self defense are also asking that a law should be enacted so that people can be. Is Nigeria a failed state? Have we degenerated to that the security apparatus in the country can no longer protect?
So we answered that question in affirmative.
Then if it's in the affirmative, then if you carry
it depends on individual approach to it.
With this state that Nigeria is almost I wouldn't know, where everybody is almost taking laws into his hands, and the time you begin to promulgate that law, will be degenerating into a state of anarchy. We are not in a failed state yet. I still believe in our security agencies, security operatives, and those who are manning them. I still believe very much in Nigeria, that we have not gotten so bad to that extent that we have gone to a state of anarchy, or we are promoting one by asking everybody to bear arms. It has not degenerated to that level, and I pray it does not. What the security agencies need to do, as provided in the Constitution, where the security and welfare of the people is a very prerogative and responsibility of government, the Tinubu administration, I appeal to those who are there, to help, the man in his renewed hope agenda. Security is very, critical. A Nigerian that is not secured, you cannot get direct, foreign investment. The place, will not be secured for business. There will be no peace. It's going to be, disorderliness and anarchy. If the police, the army, the DSS, and all those who are saddled with such responsibilities begin to reawake and restructure, their security map or architecture, if you may want to, put it that way, I think things will begin to get better. The IGP has started by deploying, some assets within the force. But what I appeal, very strongly is that those docile policemen who are on the highways, in the name of protecting the people and collecting toll, they are also not secured, themselves. If you allow a vehicle that is carrying arms, bandits, and everything go, just free because money has probably, extended hands, you are doing more harm.
If I may comment, Chief Omomia, Senator Indume, with emphasis, said yesterday that Nigerian recruits in the national security agencies get less than 50,000 naira as their, monthly salary and what have you. What implication, do you think this has on their performance?
Of course, the morale will not be there. When you don't, boost morale by incentives, of course, there's the tendency, for for you not to get results. You boost morale by providing incentives. We train and retrain our police. I remember in those days.
The issue of morale is one aspect. Don't you think they will look elsewhere for some like that?
I was going to get to that. I remember those days when we also there. We tried to challenge the then Inspector General of Police, Tafa Balogo of blessed memory, to see how they can begin to up the salaries of the police. Then it was very bad. I know with time things we gradually take shape. Even graduates, those who are graduates in the federal or state civil service also go back and ask what their take homes are. It's as bad as the 50,000 you say recruits are also taking. So let the government. I know those days it started from somewhere. And I can beat my chest to say some rank and file of the police that are beginning to be well remunerated. If it is true that it is 50,000, I think the government can begin to look at that and try and do an upward review. Not just for the police, the recruits. Look at even the paramilitary agencies, those who are always on the streets, try to guide and protect me and you, the president and others. Let's try and design maybe a special salary. Special salaries for this group of persons, because they are there maybe 24 hours, 6 to 6, the following day in the very harsh weather and very uncomfortable and insecure environment. They also work, so nothing will be too much if the federal government, even the states and up to the local government, begin to redesign a new salary and upward review of whatever Uduma is talking about.
Okay, let me quickly to announce that our listeners can be part of this conversation by calling us on 09032229797. Again, the number is 09032229797. Please, when we call, let's refrain from abusive language. Back to you, Chief Kazim. Let us now look at the causes of the. Sorry, it's like. Call. Hello. Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. I'm with you.
Mr. Suleiman, I'm so sorry for the area.
You're welcome to People's Security Monitor this morning. Go ahead, Mr. Suleiman.
Yes, thank you very much. I've been listening to your conversation and I'm grateful to be among this. You see, Mr. Kasim, directly, let me talk to him. You see, it shouldn't sound like a politician. Let's be real when we're talking about security. In the first aspect, we should go back to our training college. What kind of product are we producing in Nigeria? Because if you check our college in terms of training, we are not up to date. These are things that we should put in place, because if you are bringing people up, you need to give them the apparatus from the college level, based on the school level, to the field. We are not up to date, sir. Let me make you understand it. So, Mr. Kasim, try not to be a political, don't speak like a politician. Be real in our documents.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Salaman, for a brilliant contribution. Hello? Hello?
Sir.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yeah, this is Suchi calling from Buhari, sir.
Okay, you're welcome to People's Security Monitor. Please quickly go ahead with your view.
Yeah, thank you very much. Like what you people are saying about concerning this our police people, please, is very, very important, very necessary. These people need to be well taken care of. Look at what they are receiving. And another one I want to talk of, this, whether IPPIS or what they call it, they should remove police from that thing. They should remove them. We have been trying. Look at other military; they are not there. Why police is there? So that these people will be well taken care of. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you for that brilliant contribution. Again, our listeners can be part of this conversation by calling us on 090-3229-9797. The number again is 090-3222-9797. Yeah, Chief Kazim, the first caller was, actually hammering on the training of our security operatives. What do you have to say about that?
If you understood me, right. First of all, let me correct that's misrepresentation or that impression. I'm not a politician, neither am I.
Okay, you said you were trying to sound like them.
What I've always said, even in my previous remarks, I talked about redesigning the training architecture, so that we can have a departure from the old. If the old systems we are putting in place or we have put in place are not helping us. I did mention that, and if he has any contribution to make, outside what is obtainable now, he can also channel it, to the appropriate, quarters. We all need contributions. We all need, ways. We are profiling solutions and remedies to see how security operatives are trained better to keep criminals, away from our vicinity. Then the IPP thing. I think I remember when the police, IPP thing, started, to the extent that a commissioner was even receiving less than a commissioner of police, was receiving less than 20,000. That's
awful.
Yes, after he had enrolled, into the IPPIS, system. It was a big problem in the police, to the extent that the IG now designated, there was an AIG, to go around the states so that, they can harmonize. I'm surprised that they are still back, to that IPPIS problem. I thought it has long been, solved. And if the police also feel strongly about not being part of it, just like, probably other members of the armed forces are not there, they also know the way to go. Let them apply to the statutory bodies and go through the processes, and they may also be exempted if actually fraud is not being perpetrated, without the IPPIS. Because the reason for the IPPIS is one, eliminate ghost workers and ensure that what the federal government pays, in the nominal rules they have, in consonance with those who are actually staff of those government agencies, and they are really workers.
Okay, Chief Kazim. Again, this conversation is also open to our listeners, and they can actually link up with us on 090-3222-9797. The number again is 090-3222-9797. Please, let's refrain from abusive language when we call. Back to you, Chief Kazim. We are looking at the main causes of criminality, and a lot of people are of the view that the nonchalant attitude of the people in government, coupled with their lifestyle, are really compelling factors for any soul to want to go into criminality. Do you agree with them?
There are criminal elements who are they are inborn, criminal elements, and there are those who
those that practice it when they
and there are those who the society molds and they become one. Well, if you are talking of yes, poverty can make you do what you are not supposed to do. Poverty can make you, but I also know if you are very strong-willed, somebody, no matter your condition, whether you are impoverished, whether you are rich, whether you are a middle, class, person, you shall and will always be contented with what God has, provided, for you. And I also know that too, Farida Waziri, one time EFCC, chairperson, has asked, that most of our politicians and those who are in offices saddled with the responsibilities of managing our funds, should be tested. that should go for a psychoanalysis, a psychiatric analysis to begin to understand their state of mind, given the enormity, of fraud, and the embezzlement most of these, persons were involved in. But I look at it, if you are a God-fearing somebody from birth and you are also, saddled with managing funds and everything, you should do it the way it should be. Not go, pitfall where you are not supposed to be. Because I know the salaries are, the top notch now, are something, to write home about. I wonder why a minister with all the peck of office will still want to dabble into, fraudulent, activities where your office alone can garner so much, for you. It's a state of mind. It's a mindset.
Okay, let me say again, please. I'm sorry to cut you short there. That the number is 090-3222-9797. That is the number to link up with us. 090-3222-9797. You may go ahead, sir.
So that's it. It's a state of mind and the frame of mind that lure people into, maybe stealing, and there are some who are inborn, with such, deformities, where they have itchy palms and nothing goes around them that they don't. We also have them in government, but for those who probably as a result of poverty or inadequate salary, like Ndume did raise about recruits going home, and these are people who will man strategic positions. Let's also see how they can be remunerated very well, so that they can do their jobs very diligently, rather than using the public as their tool points to collect illicit money and illegal funds, as we see in most of our highways and offices.
Lastly, in all this, let us look at the role of our judiciary vis-a-vis the efficacy of our laws. Some people will readily tell you that this is one entity that you can do anything and get away scot-free without being challenged, though I don't want to believe that. But they will argue further about the non-efficacy of our laws, that even with big people, you hardly get rich people being reprimanded for their breaches, and most times they get away with their loot. This has become a kind of an inspiring factor for whoever that might want to go into criminality, that they will even advise that you go into higher criminality so that you have enough resources to, manage your litigation.
I don't think our laws are so defective, to the extent that, they don't have sanctions.
But they will give you names, hundreds of names.
For any type of...
Those people will give you hundreds of names whose litigations are dead and nothing has come out of it.
Yes, when President, when the DSS had a sting operation around Mustapha judges, part of the outcry there was that whatever concerns the judiciary, we have the NJC, that is a disciplinary body to look into cases. Of course, if there are petitions, why you find the judge to have compromised his integrity by giving out judgments for sale, like we have always heard. The onus lies on the NJC to set up a disciplinary committee, and where such judges or judicial officers are found wanting, there are also some aspects of the laws that deals with such area of criminality or such area of breach. So let's begin to apply this. You see, we have institutions and these laws are also there. Let's begin to apply them, not for either who is rich and who is poor. And that is why you see, if you look at the records or the statistics we have, you see more of the poor, the downtrodden, are the ones who go to jail for as much as what we call little offenses. But to me, any offense that is in the statutory book, there's a reprieve, there's a sanction for that. So there's no bigger law neither are there, smaller ones.
They talk now about the efficacy because to them it could be mere literary exercise putting laws into whatever book, but the efficacy of the law is what they are contending now.
You see, from the beginning of when the crime is committed up to when it is charged, to court, there are processes. Let me also give you a story. We're traveling from Abuja one day by Okpila. We have this checkpoint. The police accosted the guy. They said he had tattoo. Looked at his phone. They said he was a cultist. Took him to this, station and all whatnot. At the end of the day, the guy came out, walked with the police, one of the policemen across the road, went to an ATM, and the boy, the so criminal element, paid his way out. And at the time he came to join us, he said they had given them 40,000. If he was a criminal and you had noticed something at the time you profiled his phone, why don't you detain him, investigate, and probably, charge him? When the case ends at that point, because money has, exchanged hands, and probably because the police has also compromised his integrity and its, statutory role in society, it becomes, a problem. If such cases get, to the courts, we also see how the magistrate or the judge, will apply, the law. And when you are not satisfied, from the magistrate, you could get to the High Court appeal and up to the Supreme Court. The laws are there and the sanctions are there. And where in each of the processes an officer fails, there are sanctions. If a judge does not, deliver judgment, or he sells, he gives it to the highest bidder, and you can establish a prima facie, establish, some, wrongdoings, you can do a petition, to whoever, to the authorities, and that, judge I know will be invited, investigated, and if it's found, wanting, there are also processes, there are also sanctions, that go with such, infractions. That's exactly what.
Chief Kazim, I must at this point say a very big thank you for your time. We actually, appreciate all the brilliant contributions you have brought to this program this morning. Thank you very much, sir. This is how we're going to wrap it up for today. But before we go, let's remind ourselves that security business is our collective responsibility, and quickly report any suspected strange movement and activities around us to security agents. We do not have any other country outside Nigeria. Till Monday, my name is Isiaka Mustapha, the People's Security Monitor. It's bye for now.
It's been my pleasure too.
Thank you, Chief Kazim, for your contribution.
7 Citizen FM, Abuja. Remember, Nigeria's security is our collective responsibility.